What are some of the best Chronoversary 2018 options? Hello everybody. Another video recorded before I go to bed and of course upload it the next day. I am at work at this moment in time, so at least I can get this done and out to you. We've got a spreadsheet update as well, the link in the description. There's a few surprises, some really decent champion options, some things that you might not consider when taking on the 2018. You might have already done it. Who do you use? Put it in the comments section, and of course this is to help out people that haven't done it yet or are looking for alternative options. By doing just the quest as itself, you end up doing the objectives. I like that Kabam do that, and I actually really am enjoying Chronoversary. It allows me to at least look at my roster and look at options against some particularly annoying champions. I'm going to throw up some footage here and there, like I recorded a big session of about I think it was like an hour or so of doing all the fights. So I'll just put some highlights up of some of the ones I'm going to point out as to problems, issues and stuff like that. And we've got one more week, which is 2019, which is next week. That season's into the first week of December. Then we've got a load more in the coming weeks after. It will be I can imagine part 2, which will see us into 2020, 2021, 2022, 23 and 24, which will be 5 more weeks and seeing us at the end of the year and obviously into the new year, which is nice and festive. Okay, so we've got 2018. You can see I've 100%ed it. And one thing again, reminder, make sure to spend your Mysterium. Can't say that enough. You get warnings, and it's all well and good having warnings, but you're stocking a lot of Mysterium. It's 7,500 a pop. Per path, sorry, and that's what you need to be a bit wary of. Team-wise, this was the team on the left-hand side that I mainly used a lot. I should actually explain some of the things that are really cool about it. There's some champions that do fall into having synergies. So one of my big recommendations is Chronoversary. If you've got Liquid Courage, Double-Edged Masteries, he does a lot more damage, but, you know, he is very good with the addition of having Proxima Midnight. Proxima Midnight also has a true accuracy as part of her kit, and having true accuracy means she's able to counter miss and evade. Chronoversary has True Strike, which is allowing him to counter, evade and auto block. Two important things, because there are some champions that do evade and auto block. There's also other ones than that. Look out for Captain America being a great asset to your team, mainly through his abilities. If you've got a 200 signature leadership to the max version, then you'll have these bonus stats right here. You'll get, with the Mystic Champion on your team, potential each time for a buff expiring. Not really an issue. You know, you're not getting many champions that, gain buffs that you're going up against. There are Heimdall and there's a few others, but it's nothing too scary. The main thing that I would point out about this champion is, number 1, Purify. If you've got a skill champion on your team, you'll have a chance whenever a debuff is gained to consume 1 kinetic potential to purify it. We'll talk about why that's important in a minute. And with a Cosmic champion on your team, there's and do a wild time block armor break debuff for 10 seconds. Again, really, really important. With tech, you do have Petrify, but that's not something that's too much of a concern. There is some stuff that would be you'd be able to apply, but each to their own with it, okay? There's a lot of champions that are very good for this. So I'll quickly go over some recommendations of champions, and then we'll also try and pair that with some of the nodes and the champions you face off against. As I said, there's a spreadsheet that has been done that's updated, and here are some of the options. You got Bishop, because he's persistent, he's able to do a high amount of damage in a very short space of time, and also take that from fight to fight. If you've got an awakened version, it's better, but, you know, if you have, you haven't. Domino, of course, high damage, 200 signature, critical failure, extends that damage. You've got Killmonger, has True Strike, so of course he can counter evade, and auto block champions. If you've got debuffs on you, damaging debuffs, then you can phase with, and you can use Ghost in general, pair with a Wasp synergy, and that can be helpful because they're of the same year. You've got Red Skull, because, you know, he's great damage. You've got Death Field and the extended damage you can do with Liquid Courage Mastery with Mega Red. Then you've of course got Cap, we'll talk about that in a minute. Dealing with buffs, well, that's Symbiote Supreme. Corvus Glaive, missions ramping, just very good against certain champions. If you've got Liquid Courage Double-Edged Mastery, he is a lot better, and you've got Korg to Purify. Now, what are the sneaky things? Well, I'm going to go over them right now. So, right-hand side. We'll start with the right-hand side. Is there any sneaky things there? Yes. Okay. So, when we go into the quest, there are some things that you might be like, oh, first of all, I'm going to face off against Iron Man Infinity War. Well, it actually turns out that it's Dark Korg. We'll come back to that in a minute. Sorry, I did say right side. On the right side, you do have Corvus Glaive. Not too much of an issue. It's only when you come to the business end here. If you're going up against Void, I recommend Cap with that skill champion on your team. Number one. Number two, and if you don't, then you're not using Cap as your main, a champion that purifies, like Korg, can be very helpful against this. I used Killmonger and he was absolutely fine. Not sure if you want to use Ghost here, possibly. And going against Emma Frost, armor break champions are a necessity. There is Corvus Glaive you can use here. On that particular path, if you're using Corvus, then you've built up on 2 missions, and all you'll need to do is just do a well-timed block, and that can be very helpful indeed. Other ones, armor break, Cap, mentioned, and Corvus. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that armor breaks, but you need to armor break in order to counter Emma Frost, in order to take down a diamond form. You've also got fight against Korg. Just use light attacks and any champions that are class advantage that are mutant, but I feel energy-based champions do a lot more damage. So light attacks only, take down the rock shield, and then fire in with whatever you want to do. Okay, over to the middle now. In the middle, there is the opportunity for 1-2 missions before you get to the fight against Killmonger. Killmonger, same principle. If you've got armor break champions, use them, or get Cap and put a cosmic based champion on the team, and then you're able to deal with that particular fight, and that makes it a bit more easier to do. Tech champions, maybe using against Bishop. I don't know. I used Corvus and just waited it out a little bit, but anything can really do. I mean, I'd probably just use Ghost. If anything, Ghost works well here. A lot of champions work well here. So yeah, I think you're just like making sure. I like to only keep the champion to an SP2, and then just SP2 rotate. That's how I play it. But obviously, each to their own with how they decide to take on champions and what is easy for them. Leaving the final path being, now I think the champions rotate with who you face against, because I didn't go against Gladiator Hulk when I did mine. I think it rotates. I'm not quite sure with that. I'm just trying to remember who I faced off against, but it definitely wasn't Gladiator Hulk. On that particular path, I think if you get Iron Man Infinity War, you need an auto block counter. That's where the likes of Corvus comes in, or your True Strike with Killmonger, Proxima Midnight with if there's mist, then of course you can counter. But going up on the path, you can use evade based counter is very important against Wasp. Got to get that locked in, or parry heavy when you start off, and just kind of bring the champion down on that evade, because you don't want that evade. It's annoying. I used who did I use? I think I used Killmonger, or I used Corvus to build on that particular fight. Yeah, it's very doable. It's just, I think this left-hand path, you might find some troubles depending on the champions that are fielded in defense, and that's really it. There's nothing more to kind of like add except for what's in the spreadsheet, and of course what I've covered in the video here. But options, who do you use that work relatively effectively? Of course, there are other champions you could be using. Doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't use Aegon. I just felt personally the ramp up to the combos very difficult to do in a very short space of time, because then you'll find that you're ending the fight, and then you won't be able to get to the significant amount of combos you need to counter the things like evade and auto block. That's how I found it. But Void, Heavily Awakened, keep your distance, could be another option. Emma Frost, yeah, okay. Massacre, sorry. That could be a good option. yeah, there's tons of other options. I just found that those were some of the best ones based on quick to access certain things and help out. Anyway, that's been it for the video. Who do you use? Put it in the comments. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a lovely day, and goodbye, everybody. Cheers.